Hello, Algebra 1. Welcome to the last day of the week. Today we are going to be doing a factoring recap. So the very last thing that I taught you before we left for e-learning was how to factor. And this is something we're going to review today, and then next week we're going to do a lot more with this. All right? So just a reminder, factoring is the same as reverse FOIL. And again, I'm sorry, this is not a document you have. Okay, so you should either write this down, okay, on a separate sheet of paper, or you can just watch with the video. Okay, I would prefer you write it down though, because the way that you write the problems is important and we want to practice that. All right, so we have two types of forms we're dealing with. We have standard form, which looks like this. This is what we get like when we FOIL something out, and then what we are focused on is factored form. Factored form looks like the type of problem you FOIL. So the way we do this is by finding the numbers that multiply to your number at the end and add to the number in the middle. And sometimes we made our little boxes to do this. So we're multiplying to 20 and we're adding to 12. Okay, and when you do this, we're always going to set it up like this. It should look like FOIL because originally you're in standard form and we're moving to factored form. So factored form has your little parentheses, and notice they're like smushed together. They should be really close. Okay, sometimes people like really space them out. They are multiplying together, so they should be close together. All right, so our numbers that multiply to 20 and add to 12 are positive 10 and positive 2. So we're just going to say x plus 10, x plus 2. And you could have the plus 2 first and then the plus 10, but they do both need to be positives. Okay, so really all these problems are just an exercise in finding the correct numbers. Okay, so we can set this up. Okay, all of these are going to be set up the same way with your x's. And we are looking for what multiplies to negative 32 and adds to 4. Okay, so take a minute to think about that. Your numbers should be 8 and 4. One of them will need to be negative, and it's going to be the 4 that's negative because 8 minus 4 is positive 4. So I'll have plus 8 minus 4. All right, let's try another one. Multiplies to 30. All right, multiplies is always on the top and always the last number. Adds to negative 11. Okay, so go ahead and think about that for a minute. Multiplies to 30, adds to an 11. That should be 6 and 5. But what has to be true about both of them? They both have to be negative. Okay, that's the only way to multiply to a positive. Remember, we talked about when we multiply to a positive, your signs have to be the same. So either both positive or both negative. All right, let's keep going. Multiplies to negative 27, adds to negative 6. Okay, so just think about your numbers that multiply to 27. 9 and 3 are probably the ones that stick out in your brain. And now we just need to figure out which one is negative, since it is a negative 27. And it should be negative 9, because when you add those, you'll get a negative 6. Okay, watch my notation here. I'm putting x minus 9, parentheses real close, x plus 3. Okay, and again, this is called factored form. We are factoring right now. All right, great, let's keep going. Multiplies to negative 20, adds to, this is going to be a negative 1. So when we multiply to 20, probably the top pairs you think about are 10 times 2, but 10 and 2, when you add those or subtract those, you aren't going to get a 1. But 5 and 4, you will. Notice we're multiplying to a negative 20. One of these will need to be negative, and that'll be the 5, okay, because we're adding to negative 1. Okay, so again, you're going to write it like this, x minus 5, x plus 4. Okay, now, you do not have to do this box problem. What I want as the answer is this, okay? This is the most important part, your factored form. If it doesn't help you to make the little x and put the numbers in, then don't do it. Okay? But visually, it helps some people to do that, since we've practiced that before. Now this one, we're multiplying to negative 11 and we're adding to negative 4. Well, 11 is a prime number. The only numbers that multiply to 11 are 11 and itself, or 11 and 1. And can you get a 4 from 11 and 1? No, you cannot. So we say that this problem is prime. Okay, or you can say unfactorable, but prime is a lot faster to write. Okay, it means it can't be factored. Okay. All right, 6 more. So this next one is a little bit different. I know it doesn't look different, but we're multiplying to 36 and adding to 12. What are those numbers? They should be a 6 and a 6. And see how they're the same? They're both positive 6. So that means if you wanted to, this would be an absolutely fine answer. However, think about another way you could write this. You could write it as x plus 6 squared. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Multiplies to 4. It's always the last one that you're multiplying to. Adds to negative 4. All right, this is kind of weird since they're both the same number. Multiplies to 4, adds to negative 4. Okay, so that is going to be 2 and 2, but they're both going to be negatives. So if you want, you can go straight to this. We can do that because they're both negative 2's. Or if you want to keep it like this, x minus 2, x minus 2, that's fine as well. 9 and 12, you'll notice, are similar because they only have 2 terms. So when this happens, it means that there's been cancellation. So think back to what we did yesterday with your early recap when we FOILed. That means that we have one of these types of problems. So notice when you FOIL, essentially what's happening is we are just going backwards, right? That's why factoring is called reverse FOIL. So in yesterday, you got the factored form and we FOILed it out to get standard form. Today, we're going backwards. You're getting the standard form and you are factoring it to put it into factored form. Okay, so what that means is, actually, it's the same problem that we did yesterday. This means that we're multiplying to negative 100, and it actually means we're adding to 0. You know that because there's no x term in there. And the numbers that do that, the only way to add to 0 is if those numbers are opposites. So a positive 10 and a negative 10. And it doesn't matter which order you go in, you just need a plus 10 and a minus 10. Okay, and if you want, you can FOIL that out to check to make sure you got the right answer. Okay, last 3. Multiplies to negative 14, adds to negative 2. So think about your numbers that multiply to 14. We've got 14 and 1, 7 and 2, and do either of those work to give you a negative 2? They do not. So what do we call this again? Prime. Okay, got a little extra, whatever, prime. All right, last 2. I want you to pause the video. I want you to give these a try. Both of them are possible. Neither of them are prime. Okay, seriously, pause the video. I want you to try them. Okay, write them out somewhere. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you actually paused the video and tried these. We are multiplying to 40 and we are adding to negative 13. And this one's a little tricky. It's 8 and 5. But both the 8 and the 5 need to be negative. So x minus 8, x minus 5 is your answer. And then the last one is similar to number 9. We're multiplying to negative 16 and we're going to add to 0. Again, we're adding to 0 because there is no x term. If you want, you can rewrite it. But the key idea here is when you're adding to 0, it means you have opposites. So you need one positive, one negative, and it needs to be the same number in order for that cancellation to occur. So that should be a 4 and a negative 4. So x plus 4, x minus 4. And again, you could FOIL it out if you want to check your answer. Okay, there you go. Great job. Under 10 minutes. Way to go, me. So now what you're going to do is go ahead and do your Canvas quiz. And if you have questions, please reach out. I'm on my email pretty much all day, except for when I'm recording a video or meeting with students on Zoom or, eating lunch, something like that. But I'll get back to you really quickly. So please, please, please email if you have any questions or concerns. All right. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.